Hey y'all, how is everyone? Are y'all good tonight? Let me know if you can hear me okay. How are y'all tonight? Can you hear me okay? Good, good. It came a storm here about 7 o'clock. It was thundering and lightning, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose electricity. But I didn't. It was good. Hey, Witchy Mama, how are you? And as you can hear Salem, he is complaining again. Let me see who is in here. I'm too honest for this. Hello, thank you for being here. If you can stay awake, I'll catch if I can't stay awake, I'll catch the replay. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. My sweet Eve, you're here as always. Thank you, Miss Eve. Patty Ponytail, how are you? You're the number one like. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Miss Smith, hello. How are you? How are you? Thank you for joining me and Witchy Mama. And Sue Lawson, hi, how are you? It was storming here, and I mean, thundering and lightning and pouring. And I was like, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to get out to my shed without getting soaking wet? But it had calmed down by the time I got out here, so it was good. Let's see what doing better and starting not sleep so much since yes, it can be healing. I mean, it can be exhausting. Healing can be exhausting. I think it for me, I feel like we concentrate on healing so hard that we stress, we got to heal. We think about all these things that we can do to heal ourselves, and we're exhausting ourselves along the way because we're worried about healing ourselves, and we don't just it's hard to rest your mind and your heart and your body at the same time because you're worried that you're going to get all the healing done. You're worried about if you're doing the right thing to make yourself feel better, but yes, it can be exhausting. I agree. Was it you who had the job interview? I think Aussie had a job interview. I know, but Miss Eve might have had one too. Miss Eve might have had one too. Yep. Has everyone's week went okay? I am glad you're better though, Witchy Mama. I'm glad you're better. I don't sleep good anyway, and then you're saying about your sleep. I don't sleep good anyway, and then uh when it's time for me to get up, then I want to sleep. And I'm like, you can't do that. You're gonna have to you're gonna have to figure it out. So yeah. It was Aussie. Yeah, it was. I knew she was applying for a job, had a job interview, but I couldn't remember if anybody else did either. Been praying the interview went. Yes, I know. Yeah, it will make you want to sleep being sick for sure. I know. I hope maybe she'll come in if she's not busy and let us know how her interview went. That would be great. I pray she got it too. Me too. And Salem is complaining because he's up in the loft, and when I come in, I go up on the ladder to try to get him down, but yet he don't want me to get him down, but then he wants to sit up there and complain. So I'm like, you know what? If you're not going to come to me when I come to the top of the loft at the ladder, then you can sit up there and complain. That's how that is. So does ever well, before we get started, Cher may join me. I don't know if she's working. I've been talking to her off and on today, but I forgot to ask her if she's working. I'm not sure. And Mandy may join us if she gets her little sweet baby to sleep. Her granddaughter is a night owl and she stays up late. So she may not get her down in time. So it may just be us, me again. But I wanted to know if everybody in chat had heard that there was a tip supposedly called into a private eye. I don't know anything about the private eye, um, but about all I know is there was a tip called into the private eye. So I just had some questions about that. How many of y'all have heard about that? There's been a couple of creators that have put videos out about it, but I haven't heard what the tip is or if it's more than one tip. Um, I did hear there was a tip, but nothing more. Yep, that's what I heard. You heard it also, Eve? Yeah. Yeah. I just heard there was a tip. I didn't hear what it was. I don't know who the PI is. I don't know if this PI is somebody that had been working on the case, since Summer's been missing. Is this a new PI? Um, I don't know any of that. Um, I just wanted to discuss it because I have quite a few thoughts of for myself. Um, One was, is it just one tip? Is it just one thing that they would like to say that they think is that important, to call it in now after all this time? Did you just find out about this? Did you just hear this and you decide that the PI needs to hear it? It's just a lot of weirdness in that for me. Let's see, what would you want to say? Yes, I heard it. It came out when my dogs were protecting me from a note rope that made it into. Oh no! Oh, did you get it off of there so it couldn't get you? Mm. Dogs will do that. I tell you, they'll. My grandma had a German Shepherd when I was growing up, and I was out in the yard, and she literally got in front of me and was pushing me back and barking and pushing me back until my grandma came out there, and that's what it was. My grandma killed it. Hello, everyone. Hello, Bellanova. Thank you for coming. I think I heard it might have been a burglary. How true? I don't know. Ah, hmm. Very confusing what he said. It was a very short tip. Okay, I didn't hear the tip. I did hear, I didn't know that a few creators had talked about the tip. Um, but I thought, it's very odd. For one thing, why would this person go to this private eye? Did they? How did they find them? Why did they pick this person? You know what I mean? Why did they say, okay, this would be a good PI to give a tip to? Or, you know, is he new, he or she, I don't know, new to the case? You know what I mean? So what made this person go to this PI and say, hey, I have a tip for you? Because not every PI, private investigator, or whatever, is going to know about Summer's case. And not everyone is going to be on that case unless they're physically, somebody comes up and says, hey, I think this would be a great case for you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why this PI, and why did this person go to this one particular person? That's kind of weird for me, um, in my opinion. had him up on her panel. Oh, really? Okay. Okay. All right. So it is a him then. It's a him then. Okay. Why wait? Right. Right, Bella. That's what I was saying. I'm like, why didn't you do this 2 years ago? Why didn't you do this a year? I mean, because here, and I may be totally wrong because I'm not a detective. I'm not an investigator. Um, but if it's, wouldn't you think that if it's a tip that leads you closer to Summer or to someone that knows about Summer, wouldn't you think that same tip would have been around 2 years ago? Because the truth never lies. So if you're telling the truth, you're going to tell the same story that you told last week because it's the truth. So do you guys see what I'm saying? Is that it would look like if it's that credible of a tip and it would have made a difference, why couldn't it have been told 2 years ago? Made my hubby do it. Oh, made your husband do it? It's an 18-year-old beagle. Oh, Zeus. It's my 13-year-old retired service dog. Okay, or Yorkie. Okay. And Frankie is my current service dog, border collie. Okay. Shepherd. Oh. We have my husband has a service dog. He's like, he's my dog too. But he's a Belgian Malinois, and he's only 4 months old though. All for a venomous. Oh, a garter snake. Oh, he was probably more scared of them than they were of him. Then was anything missing from our home? But Summer is missing. They wanted to steal Summer. What? Oh, that is kind of confusing, Bellanova. Now that you say it was kind of a confusing tip, I can see why you would. Yeah. So something was stolen from her home. What does that have to do with Summer? I mean, is she a relative of Summer? Why would that? I mean, that's kind of random. Like, something was stolen from my home, it wouldn't be a tip for Summer's case. Maybe I'm misunderstanding their what she's trying to say, what the tip person's trying to say. Jason is his name, and he does high profiles cases. He worked on. Okay, okay. See, I didn't. I didn't. I know that Bullhorn Betty had it on her channel, and I didn't go and watch it. I just haven't had time to go watch it. So I didn't know that he had went up on other chats or channels, however you want to say it. I didn't realize that he had done that, which is fine. I had no idea. But it's just odd to me how it just all of a sudden came out of the blue. Um, see, I sent Mandy a message, see if she was going to come. Let's see. Right here. Thank you, E, for that information. She worked with him before, and he's quite reputable. That's good then. Yeah. That Well, the experience we've had with PI in the last few cases wasn't so good, so you kind of have to vet them now, I think. I was being sarcastic in a way. No, I never had heard anything missing from the Wells home. Only Summer disappeared. I'm sorry. No, I understand what you're saying, Villanova. Yeah, I get it. It was okay. You're fine. You're fine. You can be sarcastic here, girl. You sure can. I get what you're saying, though. I totally get what you're saying. Something about two brothers and told one brother to turn his brother in. Just confusing. Yeah. I wonder, it kind of makes me wonder if, because he was there telling him what the tip was about, right? She wasn't there also. So it kind of makes you wonder if he maybe is leaving stuff out on purpose, like because he don't want to give the whole tip away and alert somebody. But TBI should know, not that. I mean, I really shouldn't say that they haven't done anything, but um, I did go back and look over, 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 and see if I could find like how many um, updates that have been done, like either through the sheriff's department or TBI. And I mainly looked for TBI because this tip that was given would be one that would go to, should have went to TBI. And that was my other question. Why did she, or I guess it's a she that gave the tip, go to this PI? Why didn't she go straight to TBI? Why didn't she go? Why did she just not go herself? It's kind of weird. I'm sure he told TBI the whole tip. Yeah, but kept some. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That may be why it sounds kind of weird to us, because he left some stuff out, and I could see that. I could see leaving, things out that maybe don't need to be put out there, so TBI can research it and try to find out if there's any credibility to it. So I can totally see, him doing that and understand it. Yeah, I can totally see that. And I know Bullhorn Betty talked about it, and I believe Michelle After Dark. I think that's the name of the channel. I believe she talked about the tip also. Thank you, Miss Eve. Dawn gave an update, but who? Right, right. Mm-hmm. 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 Who knows? Hello, Miss Wolfie. How are you? It's okay. Never late. Never late. Never late. Yes, thank you, Eve. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, good. Good. So I did look up TBI. Like I went through and tried to find like how many times TBI gave an update. And there may be more, but this is what I could find. Like, so they gave like they did like the news source. What was the news source? WJHL. They did like several little small, new like updates on summer, which really weren't updates. What they were just telling you was how many tips that there were in. So there was 799, then there was 870. So on July 12th, 2021, which is not even a month after Summer went missing, there was 900 tips. So in less than a month, they had 900 tips. And I was thinking, that's a lot of tips. That's great. That's a lot of tips. But are they saying that none of those were credible? Not one thing led to anything? Like, not one tip led to any type of evidence that they could, keep or use at a later date or anything. 900 tips, and it was less than a month after she had been missing. So they did, so July 12th, they did one, 2021. And then December 15th, they did of 2021, they did another update. Um, and then June 15th, 2022, they did a update for summer. And I believe that's the one. Yeah, June 15th, 14th. Well, June 14th, 2023 was the one that they released her um, regression, age regression picture. And then June 15th, 2022. So they were doing one about a year, about every year. So they did June 15th, 2022, June 14th and 15th of 2023, and then they did June 14th of 2024. Now that was the one in 2024 was the TBI director. That was his interview. I think it was like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 minutes. But he said a few interesting things in there to me. Did anybody see that interview with him? Let's see, Villanova. I was thinking if timeline is at all but true, the middle of the day would be a weird time to invade a home. Right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. It would be a weird time because you don't know the middle of the day. You don't know somebody could be home for lunch, or any of or some people, work that early shift and they're home by 2 o'clock. They work 7 to 3 or 6 to 2 or whatever. Hi, Mimi Jean. How are you? Welcome, 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 welcome. Let's see. Oh, Appalachia Skies. Very good. So glad you're here. You're usually asleep because you have to work. I get it. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Especially during COVID when everyone, right? Exactly. Because you had to be home then. Everybody was working from home, you know, or you didn't have, even if you weren't working, you were home because some people didn't have jobs then. Even the kids were home from school. Some schools were closed. Hello, hello. I'm so glad you're here. So glad you're here. Did anyone see the director? I know it's been a year ago. It's hard to remember. Aw, I hope you feel better, Mimi Jean. What's wrong? It's that time of year, too, where the pollen is out. Thank goodness for the bees, but oh my goodness. And now it's starting to get hot. I mean, it's like hot. I think today was 90 something, felt like 100 and something. And then we got that storm tonight. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I hope you feel better. Hope you feel better. So the interview was like 4 minute, little over. I mean, I'm sure it was longer, but the clip I saw was like 5 minutes. Um, the smoke here is so bad. Oh no, where are you at? You have 11 fires? Oh no. So you don't want to go outside because that smoke makes you feel bad. Oh my gosh. And you don't want to open doors or windows because my goodness, you don't want that in the house. I'm sorry. Oh, Alberta. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope it gets better. Does that happen every year? Because it seems like y'all had some fire. Did y'all have some last year too? Seems like I remember fires there last year too. Maybe I'm wrong. Seems like I remember them there though. Hmm. Yes, hugs and prayers, Mimi Jean. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Y'all did. Okay, I thought you had some last year. Yeah, I thought so. Aw. Well, crap. And we get that, I don't really know how to describe it. It's like a sand dust that comes across the ocean, and Louisiana gets it bad. It's like, I forget what it's called. I'll probably think about it tomorrow and be like, that's what I wanted to say. But it comes across the ocean, and we get it bad here in Louisiana. And you'll just see the haze for like 3 or 4 days. You know, like the sand is here again. Yay. So I know. Beautiful can I know. Praying. Absolutely. Yes, it can be bad. But this interview that he did, it was a couple of things that bothered me that he said. Well, in 2024, he did say it is not a cold case. Summer's case is not a cold case. And I'm like, well, and I remember he did this interview, and I remember watching it when he done it. But I went back and watched it again because I thought, is that since that's the latest, the only one that he's done, I wonder if TBI is going to do an updated one, next week, maybe this week or next week. And I wonder if he's going to do it, if he's still there. But he said that it was not a cold case. And he said what made it not a cold case, and I found this is very interesting, was they have continued tips coming in. A continuation of tips coming in, and agents were actively working them. So he is saying, as long as tips come in and they're actively pursuing them, it is not a cold case. That is what he said. He said, and we are constantly working on tips, and we're constantly getting them in. So in 2024, they were still getting tips, and they were still working Summer's case, and they were still actively working Summer's case. And he said when there's a lull or a slowdown in the case where tips stop coming in, then it starts going to being a cold case. That's what he said. And I thought that was very interesting, because if they have been continuously working this case and they have all of these tips come in, are you telling me there is absolutely nothing that they can use? Is there absolutely nothing that they can use for Summer's case? At that point last year, they had over 6,500 tips and leads that came in for Summer. This was what was this? June 14th, 2024. Let's see. Chatter. Oh. Getting rain starting tomorrow. Oh, good. That's good. That will help. That will definitely help. Yeah, I mean, what does that sound like to y'all? What's y'all's opinion on that? If you are continuously getting tips in that you are working your agents, and you got more than one agent, and you're all working on these tips, and there are continuous tips and leads, then are you telling me out of 6,500 tips and leads, there's nothing? I understand it if you can't tell those tips and leads. I totally get that. If you can't tell tips and leads because you got to keep that to the vest. But that's a lot of tips and leads with nothing. You know what I mean? With nothing. That was one interesting thing he said to me. What do y'all think about that? Do y'all think Do y'all agree with me? Do you think that's a lot of tips and leads without absolutely? I mean, because if you look at it, we are nowhere closer to finding Summer than we were the day she went missing. So it's hard to believe that there's nothing in all those tips and leads. I mean, it's just so hard to believe that. I mean, I hope there's something there, but if there's enough there, why haven't they done anything? I mean, that's a lot of tips, and that was a year ago. So if they've got more tips in, since then, a year, um, then the case is not cold. He said, as long as we're actively working tips and leads, it's not cold, and we are actively working this case. Okay, I just can't wrap my mind around that many tips. And 900 in less than a month. That's a, that's a lot of tips. Maybe it's not in the big scheme of things. Maybe I'm not um uh maybe in the big scheme of things, maybe 900 tips is nothing. Um but that sounds an awful lot for less than a month. Let's see. May not be classified as a cold case, but the fact, right? That's what I'm saying. I mean, they haven't. No, I mean, nothing. But that was a year ago that he said the case wasn't closed. Now, a year's a long time. Some may valid, some may be Fruit Loops, but they all need right. And that's the other thing he said. He said they have checked at all these leads. He said over 6,500 tips and leads. Every one of them has been checked and verified. That's the other thing he said. Every one of them has been checked and verified. Then, wow. I mean, then there's a lot of people calling you and telling you, I mean, I don't want to say junk, trash, nothing that's working, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm trying to, if I'm saying how I feel about it. It's like, it just seems like a lot of tips for no movement at all in the case. Not even someone arrested and questioned. Not even that. You know what I mean? Um, Interview done gave Candace decided not to join at the last minute. Uh-huh. Imagine that. Ronnie Lawson is the sheriff of Roseville and his son. Yeah. Yep. Hi, Teresa. Did I say hi to you? If I didn't, hello. Thank you for coming in. Right. Hmm. That and that wouldn't surprise me one bit. Protecting each other like that. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And they had 900. So that tells you right. And he said over the 6,500 tips that were in, they had went through all of them. All of them. He said they had followed through every lead and had followed up on every one of them. I'm like 6,500 tips, and you followed up on all. He said actually over 6,500 tips. Mm. And I'm like, well, I just can't wrap my mind around that. Candace just will not speak up for her daughter. I just don't understand her. I don't either. I don't either. Oh, there is Miss Cher. Hello, my sister. Hello. Hello, hello. I didn't know if you were working tonight. I forgot to ask you earlier when I was talking to you. I forgot to ask you. I forgot to ask. They did recently say they had tips a few months ago and that they were still following up on said tips. Fingers crossed. Okay, good. Good, because he said that the case is not dead as long as they have tips and they have continuous tips and they can follow up on them, then the case is not dead. So cold. So I'm like, okay. I guess I was just shocked at the 6,500 leads that have led to nowhere. That kind of shocked me. Um, if I could be sure DW and CW and Greatness does not watch, I would drop what I really think police might have. Uh huh. Mm hmm. Mm hmm. So what I to understand, the sheriff is protecting his son, so until he is replaced, it won't move forward. Heard that this week too, I think, from BB. Okay, well, and that could very well be true. Very well be true because, and I believe I heard Witchy Mama there is an election coming up, and maybe someone will run against him. Maybe someone will run against him. It does take a lot of man hours. It does. It does. He even said they have brought in agents, TBI agents from across the state to help. He did. He said that also. Lawson should be removed from the case, even if he or his son isn't involved. The fact the son is. Yep. Yep. I agree, Cher. I agree. I absolutely agree. I agree. I will get that video. Let me see where I'm at. Hold on just a second. Oh, all right. Let's see. Let's see. Are people scared of him though? That might be that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wonder if somebody was willing to go up against him. You know what I mean? The person himself, like, when that land went up for sale by um between Dawn's house property and Jody Sue's, they had a fit up. Jody Sue had a fit up there. That man was like scared to after he bought the property. He was, scared, um, and probably even before. So I'm kind of wondering if it's kind of a situation like that. Like would they kind of say, well, you know, you'd be better off not running because if you do, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yep. Yep. He also said another thing that I listened to close that he said was that there is evidence, no evidence that Summer walked out of the house and got lost or was taken up to the point in the date in 2024 when he did that interview. There is no evidence that she was taken from her home or that she walked off and didn't come back. There is no evidence either way. So, since there's no evidence either way, he has to keep both avenues open and they have to keep following the leads from both avenues. Okay, yeah, I get that. Totally get that. But if you have no evidence from either way, you really do have to look at other possibilities, because if you don't, if you don't have evidence of either way, then where do you go from there? I mean, something happened. I mean, you can't say, you know, I mean, you have to, there has to be a way she left there. There has to be. She didn't just go poof and she's gone. So if you don't have evidence of either way, then, maybe she was like maybe Jean's saying, she was carried out of there. Right. Right. Exactly. So but he did. He said there's no evidence of either way, and they have to keep those avenues open. And I agree, they do. But some of those tips that came in, they said they had to have been involved with Summer walking away or someone taking her. They did. What other tips would they call in? You know what I mean? What other tips could they have to call in that would be different than those two things? Because if she walked off and, you know, walked off and somebody seen her walking down the road and they picked her up, then there you have both things tie into her being gone, not just one. Did you know that Lawson has been in for over 20 years? They did have one person run against him and won. Well, he took him. And Lawson went right back to his old job. Yep. See there? See? That's what I was trying to say without saying it, about the threatening and stuff. Yeah. Not surprised. Oh. Needs to be checks and balances in place, like any child missing authorized absence from home meetings to right. Yep. Yep. And I don't know if TBI still has him. What's this? I got his name written down. Let's see. Where's it at? Josh Melton. He was the one that did the interview. I don't know if he's still the director or not. No tips from YouTubers, right? No tips from YouTubers, right? Especially if you don't live there. I mean, because we know that most of the time, probably, it takes a while. And Cher can attest to this. It takes a while to get somebody to talk to you and even come close and to trust in you. You know what I mean? So you're not going to, YouTubers probably aren't going to get that information that going to lead us to someone that's missing. You know what I mean? Yeah, we were talking about that, Mimi Jean. The new tip. That's one of the things we were talking about. And I was saying that I didn't know what the tip was, that I had not heard. And I didn't know who the PI was. And we were discussing about the tip and what it might mean. But it's odd that it's all of a sudden, it's right here at the 4-year mark. It's just odd how it come about. In my opinion, it's odd. And why they picked him, this PI. Like, did they know him? Is it somebody they knew? Did they just look PIs up and say, I think you'd be a good one to give it? You know what I mean? What made them choose this PI to give the tip to instead of calling TBI first and giving it to them? And like, say it was on a weekend or something, you're able to call tips in like 24/7, right? I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a Saturday or something, does it? I mean, can't you still call a tip in? Someone knows something. Why don't they carry enough? Right. I agree. I'll never understand that either. Someone knows something. And Summer deserves justice, and she deserves to come home. No matter where she's at or in what form she's in. She needs to come home. I mean, they need to put her first. They need to put Summer first. They didn't before. They need to put Summer first, in my opinion. From Utah. He's from Utah, or the tip person is from Utah, Mimi Jean? Is the PI from Utah? From Utah. Okay, thank you, Diane. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate. Did I say hi to you? If I did not, I am very sorry. Hi, Miss Diane. Thank you for coming in. He's from Utah. Okay, there's another Utah connection then, huh? As I was told to drop the Utah name, which I am not, because that has been her name from the beginning, and I've always known her as that, and I will continue to put that in her name. And that is all I'm going to say about that. Yeah, sadly, Mimi Jean, yeah, yeah, I agree. So I am wondering if he is going to come out, TBI is going to come out with another update. Um, According to them, they have more than one agent working on it. Um, but and he said that they worked good together. Like, he said that TBI and local law enforcement are working good together. But I thought that once TBI took it, I thought that that local law enforcement kind of gave it to them. It was kind of like now local law enforcement is doing it, but maybe I just don't know how it works. But I hope that it's a good tip. Hope it's a credible tip. Um, I hope it helps find Summer, or helps get us closer to Summer. You know what I mean? I hope it. I know this is probably not a nice thing to say, but it would be nice if it scared somebody or worried somebody. You know what I mean? Somebody that needs to be worried or scared. It would be nice if somebody was worried about this tip. Um, that would be another good thing. That would be another good thing, in my opinion. Right. Me too, Teresa. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I do too. I mean, or get somebody worried, or get somebody to thinking, or slip up, or um, talking. Get somebody talking. Right. Or is it a new tip? Right. I had thought about that too, Teresa. Is it another tip that's revisited so it makes it look new? Because 6,500 tips is a lot of tips. You know, could they have, could this person have maybe sent this tip in like at the beginning? Because, like I said before, they had 900 tips and it wasn't even a month that Summer had been missing. So, could this been an old tip they're just recalling in? That's another thing. It was crazy how he said, "Tell your brother we know, give him up, and you could get less." That is kind of crazy. Tell your brother we know, give him up. So what he's saying is, so they want this other person to give. So they must not know where that person's at. I guess is what they're saying, or they want him to tattle on the brother because they know. Hmm. Someone's brother. Yep. Someone's brother. Hmm. So the brother knows. They're saying the brother knows who done it, which makes them an accessory to the. Thank you, Eve, for dropping that. Whose brother? That's a good question. Did he? I don't think he said, right, Mimi Jean? He just said, tell your brother, but he didn't say who he was speaking to. So we don't know who he was speaking to. Play what? Play what? Play what? Play what? The interview? Okay. Let me go over here and get it. Let's see. Hold on. Okay, let's see. What channel was it on, Eve? Does Fred have a brother? Don has a interview that he did, and that's what Eve just put in chat. No, Fred doesn't have a brother. Okay. Eve just put that Don's interview into chat. So the one you, which one are you asking? Share which interview? The interview with the PI was crime lines. Was it crime lines and lies? Is that how you say it? Was that one the one that the link Eve just dropped just now? Was Don's interview? Hold on, let's see. The PI. Oh, okay. That yeah. Yeah, I probably shouldn't play hers. I might have to I might get in trouble playing hers. But Eve dropped it in the chat earlier. Dawn's interview isn't very long. It's like 3 minutes. Was the PI was on Brooks? Okay. I'm sure Don did his normal. I don't know. TBI is not saying anything. There's no new leads. We're just living day by day. We'll meet her in the resurrection. That's about it. I haven't seen it, but I'm just assuming that's what it is. Candace don't want to be on camera. That kind of thing. I'm sure. That's about the extent of his interview. I shouldn't be rude, but no, they said they were clear of all CPS. Okay. Well, that's why your son's up for adoption. Just saying. Because you're clear of all CPS. The problem with that is you can't have a CPS case if you don't have children, which you no longer have, except for the one that you have that is missing. So I don't know. They're not going to clear you and say, "Oh, well, these are now that they don't have any children anymore. Their record's clear." I would think a CPS record like that would stay with you. I mean, because that's something that's kind of like a SA thing. People need to know that. Thank you, Eve. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Yep. Mm-hmm. It's not rid of his truth. And they said that for, yep. Maybe. I bet he says the resurrection morning is written in the Bible or typed in the Bible. I watched that live for 2 minutes. I didn't realize he was the PI they were speaking about. Oh, they didn't introduce him like Bella at the beginning and say who he was? Oh. Does he sound like how old does he sound? Does he sound older, younger? And he's not the other PI disguising his name and stuff, is he? Lord, we don't need that. Oh, up in the middle of the interview on panel. Okay, so it's not at the beginning of the video. Okay, not live. He just popped up probably. Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying, Cher. While they were talking about it, he just popped up. Yeah. He was older. Okay. Okay. So not like probably older than what was his name for on Sebastian's case? Fisher. That's his last name. Can't remember. I missed the beginning. I went to the middle of it for a bit. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Okay. I'm kind of surprised he came up like that already, and talk so quick. I wonder how long he's had the tip. That's the other thing. How long has it been since that person gave him the tip? You know what I mean? That how long has he held it? Has he had it? Did it just happen? Did he just get it? Did he just get the tip? You know what I mean? Or was it something that he's been sitting on for a little while? Oh, Brooks texted him he could not come up, but he came up later. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. So he must have let people know. Was he what was he doing? Was he shouldn't he kind of keep himself, well, he's a private eye. So shouldn't he keep himself kind of private about things? I mean, I guess see if I can phrase it where I'm trying to say it. Like, how did people know that he was the PI that got the tip? I mean, did he like this? Who announced it where people would know who he was? I guess is what I'm trying. Did he just go on and say, "Hey, I got a tip," and did he put it out there and YouTubers just start contacting him, or did he? Am I trying to ask my question correctly? But was he on cam, or was it just his voice? You see what I'm trying to say? He did. He put himself out there. Okay. Okay. I was just wondering how people knew to contact him. Like, how would you know to contact this PI? Did he just say, "Hey, you know, that was my question." I was just not getting it out right. I'm sorry. I am sorry. Last week. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Brooks knows his PI. He has been on her panel before. Okay. Okay. That makes more sense. Okay. Okay. All right. I was just thinking to myself, well, how do people know? I mean, I would have thought he would have kept that, like, that he got a tip to himself and then told TBI and then maybe kept it to himself for a little while before he, um, before he said that. But I mean, hey, I guess you know what you're doing. Post it on Facebook. Okay. He is on. You can see him. Okay. Okay. Post it on Facebook. Okay. All right. Not his first case. Yeah. Yeah. I was just wondering because I had no clue. I didn't know a lot about it. That's why I wanted to come on and talk about it. Yeah, I was wondering that too. I was wondering if that's a normal thing PIs do too, because I don't like follow PIs. Like, I don't look them up. The only PI I followed, to be honest with you, I was Magnum PI because he was hot. He's still hot as an old man. He's still hot, but that was the PI I followed. He could have been my PI anytime. But back to what we're really talking about. I was not sure how it worked, so I didn't know if they could put stuff out there like that, if they had to keep it to themselves or whatever. You know what I mean? Hello, BJ Powell 63, and welcome. You think it's a trap to get people to talk? Very good observation. I did say that earlier. I was saying I wonder if it will make people speak or make people get worried or scared or. So I agree that it could be, absolutely could be that. I agree. Needs work. That could be it too, Mimi Jean. That could be it too. Yeah, it could be very possible. It could be a lot of reasons why he put it out there. I just, didn't know the protocol for that, I guess is the right word. So, not knowing anything about, I didn't even know if it was a man or a woman. So, that's, there's that. That's right. That's right. I know, right? And them shorts. I mean, that's the PI I followed. He was. Hmm. Hmm. And I love him in Blue Bloods. Blue Bloods. I love him. Blue Bloods. Oh, your meds are kicking in. You're fine, Mimi Jean. If you need to lay down, go ahead. I completely understand. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. You're always here when you can be. I appreciate you. I do. I do. But let's see. Cher. You know what Cher does to me when she gets tired? She just disappears. I'm like, oh, Cher's tired. She's asleep. She's gone. She's out of here. But I know it's because she's tired, and it's okay. She's been doing it to me for 5 years. So I mean, she's. I know what she's doing. If he spoke to Don and Candace, then he already spoke to TBI. That yeah. And did he speak to Don and Candace? That's a very good comment there, Teresa, because I don't know if he did talk to you. Talking about the PI, correct, Teresa? You're talking about if the PI talked to Don and Candace? That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Because do you think he would go to Don and Candace and then to TBI? I mean, you would think with the tip he wouldn't go to them at all. But in his interview, I haven't looked at Don's interview, his latest one. But did he even mention the PI in there in his interview? Did he mention? Oh, and I love you, Miss Eve. I'm so glad you're always here and you always take care of me, and I appreciate that. Old as a caveman. Tom Selleck is fine. He is. I liked him in Jesse Stone too. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Teresa Don did mention the PI in his interview. Okay, okay, thank you, thank you. Or do you don't did he, or was that yes to something else? We got several questions going on, so it could be it could be an answer to something else. That would be interesting, though. To know if he went to, because if I was a PI and I was given a tip on a missing child, probably my first thing to do would be to, if I was unfamiliar with the case, would be to get familiar with the case, especially with the parents and what happened, and then I would go to TBI and then let TBI most probably tell the parents, because they're supposed to keep the parents up on tips and stuff that are credible, I thought. I could be wrong. Don could have meant the other PI, though. Oh, Chris or whoever, the weirdos. That's true. Because Don, you got to ask him direct questions, and you can't ask him a two-part question. So it has to be direct, and it can't be two-part, or he's lost. I've always said you can't talk to Don and Candace for 5 minutes and not feel like they need. Yeah. Oh, the PI. Okay. And he's from Utah. That's just very interesting to me. Mm. My mind is always working in the, you got to go down that road whether you want to or not, because you always got to think of a connection when when people aren't thinking of a connection, because there could be, You got to do that weird theory thing because I still feel Rose and Summer are connected. Um, I know they disappeared at years difference, but I still feel there is a connection there. Yes, he was talking to Don and Candace before he sent the tip in. Okay, okay, all right. Then you know what I'm gonna say, and I'm not being rude, and I'm not being mean, and I'm not being uh. Well, I might be, but it's my channel. I'm gonna say it anyway. Then it's probably not a good tip if he shared it with Don and Candace. It's probably not gonna go anywhere. That kind of lowers my that kind of made my heart drop a little because that makes me feel like maybe now the tip might not be lead to anything. And I probably shouldn't have said that, but Jensen, okay, last name, and has to say I'm open to what he's saying. Right, I am too. You got to be. You got to be open to what he's saying. Yeah, that's true. I just have that, you know me. You know me, sure. Yeah, yeah. There is. It's just a connection. I mean, and Cher can tell you, I've felt that from a long time ago, and she has too. Um, and if people say, "Oh, there's no connection," well, they're like looking at a direct connection, like of I'm looking at a connection like reasons and people and why. And they're looking at it like, well, this year's apart. Why one didn't even know the other. Okay, well, yeah, but we're not looking at it like that. Was anything reported missing from the Wells home? Would that make this tip thing more credible to me? Yeah, I don't know if anything, Cher, do you know if they've ever reported anything missing? Now, see, Don was asked that before. Do you remember one of his interviews? He was asked, was there anything missing from his home? And he said he didn't think so. I can't remember what interview it was with Cher. It was one of the ones, I think it was one of the last ones that we done that I showed, the interview with Cher and Don where he was outside in the yard. I'm pretty sure it was that one. Yeah, that's true. He could have to see what their behavior is. You're right. Yep. 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 That's true too, which you see, y'all, man, y'all are all coming out with great things. Yes. Yep. 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 Yeah, I know he was asked that question if anything was taken, and I cannot remember what he said. Thought he said no. Said TBI just missed them or looked. Now I remember that too, Cher. The only other now that you say something, I remember him saying the only thing he ever remember was taken was like gas or something, like gas jugs or jugs for gas, like for lawnmower and stuff. But yeah, I remember that. Over missed them or over. Yep, I remember that too, Cher. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. You would look like they would have taken anything that they could have thought would have told them something. So did he make a statement on Facebook about the tip or did he just say I got a tip? That's kind of weird just to put, hey, I'm such and such, and I just received a tip on summer wells. Was it something like that? Did he do something like that? Yes, people stole gas and tools from outside for years. Yeah, that's what he said. Okay. Yeah. I knew it was something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. The kids probably stole the gas for the. That's probably true. Or they really probably didn't steal it. They probably just said, oh, there's some gas here. I'm going to ride my dirt bike. Okay, let's put some gas in the dirt bike. Could have been as innocent as that, because I don't think they did have a little bit of a yard with grass, like they're in the front. Um, I think from that picture, that one picture they took. I think it was that. What was her name? The news reporter, Ansley. The one she took where it looks like she took it from the bottom of the hill, so it looks like she's looking up, and it looks like there's a hill there. It looks like there was grass there. I mean, I don't think they had much grass from what I could see in a roundabout way. Okay. Okay. Yes, made a statement. Okay. Right? Nobody coming up on the hill saying anything. Those dogs and people always. You're right. Them 511 dogs they got it. 511 dogs they got that never barked at anybody. And then the night Cher was interviewing, he was standing outside. The dogs were barking, and would Don say, "Oh, they're just barking at a bunch of nothing." But you just said they don't bark at nobody. So what is it? Do they bark or do they not bark? It was Fred taking gas for his horse. Oh Lord. It was probably Jody Sue stealing gas as she was going from one property to property that's not hers back over to her property. So glad to see different. I know that's what I was thinking. That's why when I put in my description, I want to know what y'all think about this tip. And does it bother you? Like, don't you think it's weird? That's why I was like, let's talk about this. I want to talk about it. I want to hear everybody's opinion. Everybody. Yeah, they probably did kill all the grass. Right. 50, 11 dogs. Yeah. Yeah. There's Miss Aussie. There's Miss Aussie. We were talking about you, Miss Aussie. We're so glad you're here. How did the job interview go? How did it go? We hope it went well. We hope it went well. You would have to pick garbage for a week before you can. Yeah. Yep. Yep. We hope you got your job. We hope so. It is weird. I agree, Diane. That's weird to me too. I mean, because my thoughts are, I mean, I get it that sometimes, and I really get it because when I do my videos on the looking glass, I know people can be missing 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, you know what I mean? And then somebody finally speaks up, but it's just odd that it would just come at this time. Like, is this a tip that you could have told 3 years ago? Or is this absolutely something that you just found out and had and told now? It's just the timing's all wrong for me. It's all wrong for me. But like I said, it could just be me. That's right. You got to say it right. 5011. That's right. The neighbor said he only mowed the bank about 2 weeks before Summer went missing. So that it was recently mowed. That's interesting. Hmm. I went for it, just waiting to hear now. Oh, good. We will keep praying that you got it. We will keep praying. They keep you in suspense, don't they, Aussie? It's like, can you not make me wait like 50, 11 days? Can you speed up the process? Very good. Was the interview stressful, or was it just kind of like, it was like, okay, some interviews are stressful, but some are like, kind of ease through them and you're okay. Once you get started, the interview's not bad. Yes, good luck and blessings, Aussie. Absolutely. Yep. But yeah, that's the tip. Just has bothers me just because of, well, timing is one thing. It's just coming in here right at June 15th. So we're like 4 days away, um, and Summer will be missing 4 years. Um, and now we got this tip coming in. We got, no, well, according to TBI a year ago in 2024, there was still movement. There were still tips coming in. There was still movement. They were still going through all the tips, but that they have been through over 6,500 tips and leads, and that they haven't found Summer. And so then this one comes out of nowhere. So I think for me, timing is a big thing, and I just keep feeling like, well, is this something that could have been told 2 years ago or 3 years ago? I mean, is this a tip that you've been holding on to that you could have told TBI already? And if it is, why were you holding it? Was somebody keeping you from telling it? Was somebody like still alive on this earth that you couldn't go tell on them? Why are you holding it that long? If you did have it that long, why are you there? And then all of a sudden you tell it. There has to be, I don't know, there just has to be some intention behind it, I feel like. I know he had 200 interviews to do. Woo, my goodness. 200 interviews. Had to act out a presentation and stuff. Then he showed me his. Oh, really? Wow, 200 interviews. Lord. That's a lot of interviews. My goodness. So you had to do a presentation because it's for like tours, right? Like you'd be a tour guide? The PI has a tracking dog. Oh, cool. Okay. Yep. That's very cool. Not a lot of PIs do that. That's what I'm trying to say. Very, very thank you, Wolfie. Thank you. What would people know now that they didn't know then? Yeah, that's one of the things I'm trying to say. Yep, absolutely. Usually comes out after divorce or right, divorce, death, or something like that. Yep, yep. They said they didn't trust Hawkins County with the tip. Well, I don't blame them there. 100%. Mimi Jean, I don't blame them there. I wouldn't either, to be honest. I wouldn't either. Mm-mm. Whole lot of competition. Yep. Crime and ghost tours. Okay. I thought that's what you had said. Thought that's what you had said. And I also wanted to send my condolences, Aussie, on the young lady that went missing and was found. I know that you said that she was a friend of your daughter's family, daughter's friend's family. I think that's what you had said. And I hate that. I'm very sorry that she was found and not found how they wanted her to. I'm very sorry about that. Yeah, yeah. Hmm. Oh, cemetery. So true crime in Brisbane, and wow, I like cemeteries. Well, I mean, because the sheriff is rumored to be involved in. Yeah, yeah. Hmm. I don't blame them. Honestly, I wouldn't have trusted him either. I would have found, you know, a PI or a TBI to go to. Too. On that part, I totally don't blame him at all. Yep. Oh, it falls on Father's Day this year, Eve, huh? That's right, it does. It sure does. Falls on Father's Day. Hmm. Well, that is something, isn't it? That is something right there. Miss Aussie does good protecting herself, I think. You don't think they will ever find Summer? Maybe that's attempt to clear. Teresa, sadly, I've gone back and forth um, on that. And I don't know if it's the length of time that makes people think, you know, that she won't be found. I think that has a lot of weight on us not thinking Summer will be found. That doesn't weigh for me as much as where she has been put, because that's where I think they're going to run into trouble finding her, is how she was placed. Because, like I said, when we were in Arkansas and we were in the mountains, which I know the mountains of Arkansas is not like the mountains of Tennessee, I get that. But it was steep, and I mean, the signs were steep and curvy road ahead for the next 10 miles. I mean, and vast and dense, and like just drop offs that just dropped off to where down into dense trees and rocks and stuff. So the overwhelming searched part of it um, is what makes me feel like if they find her, it's just going to be a long time, sadly, unless someone says, I think I know where she's at, or I know where she's at, or I heard this is where she was at. You know what I mean? Because I honestly, just me, I don't feel like she's in a cemetery. But that's my opinion on that. She is friends with my granddaughter's auntie. It's horrible. They use. Oh, yeah. I'm so sorry. I knew it was something along there. I didn't know if it was your daughter or granddaughter. I knew there was some kind of connection there where they knew someone. I am so sorry. I was so hoping for better results for that. I was hoping for better results for that. But I was so worried when I watched your live, and I was listening um to her story, and I knew that she had went to the airport, was supposed to go to the airport, And the first thing that I felt was she never made it to the airport. Like she just never made it to there. And I started to send you an email and say, I don't think she ever made it to the airport. I don't think she made it into the vehicle awake. Um, I don't think she ever left the house in control, is what I was going to write to you. But I just, I started to type it out and then I was like, no, I can't do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to make somebody, I don't want to depress somebody. So I didn't send it. But yeah, I was hoping I was wrong. I love your kitty back there, Chuck. Listen, he is mad because he's up in the loft and I went up there to get him down. He didn't want to get down, so he's up there complaining. But Tinsel's down here just talking. She's just talking away. Yeah. Yep. Don's father with no kid. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. Something to be proud of, right, Diana? Or Diane, not Diana. Yep. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Yep. It may be told on somebody's deathbed. And I thought about that too. I'm like, it's just odd, but maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just suspicious of the time. Maybe the timings make me suspicious. Right. There's always still hope. Yep. You got to keep that. You got to keep that because there's cases that are, you know, 40, 50 years old that I've done on my channel. That my very first case was Brittany Woods. And that is such a sad case. And I always go back and think about it would be so good for her daughter if she could be found. Her daughter's probably, I would say, now she's grown, just now probably grown. Um, and just for her, she never got to know her mom. I think she was 2 when her mom went missing. So, it's just, and I know somebody knows where she's at. I know somebody knows where she's at. Yep, it will. I know somebody knows where she's at. Yeah. I'm going to tell you what, I was I was sick a lot of the times cuz we were in a cabin that was like way down there in the foot of the in the valley of the mountain. It was by a lake, and when you go up, you go down, you got to come back up. And every time we left, here we would go, and I was like, oh, I'm car sick. So because I'm from flat country, I'm not from that. And so I told them the next time we go to Arkansas, we cannot stay so deep in the mountains because I stayed car sick a lot. Look at the family of 5 that disappeared and was found after yeah. Yeah, I remember the mom, dad, and the little girl. It's a little girl and 2 little girls and a boy. I think that's the ones where they had a dog. Was the dog in the vehicle? Or they had a dog? Or I think that I may be mixing them up with somebody else. They they charged both the roommates. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I didn't think she ever made it to the airport. Uh, Now this road, Wolfie, that we were going on to get to our cabin. I'm sure there's another way. There was another way because we ended up taking another way. But this one way that we took when we first got there, they said it's so bad in the winter when it snows and ice, they close it. And people got to go the other way. I'm like, well, what about the people that actually live on the road you close? How are they supposed to? How do they go get to their house? I mean, how do they get in there if you close it? My goodness. I'm like, nope. Mm-mm. Right? Yeah. Yeah. And you know me, Wolfie. If something comes to me, I write it down or I let that person know. Um, I can't. Wolfie can probably not even list how many times if I get a fill-in for her or she's asked me something like 2 weeks before, and then I'm feeling it and I'm hearing it and I'll write it down and I'll get on the phone, hear it, and I send it to her because sometimes being a medium you get stuff. It's not like uh, they say, "Hey, we're fixing to tell you something." You just get it, you hear it, you see it. I believe that it is spirit box, and it was so weird. I kept getting two words over and over the tape. Oh, the same two words over and over on the tape. Yeah, and I feel like she was leaving. Like I don't think she was coming back for a while. I think she had planned to be gone for a while, and I don't know if they depended on her for money or what, but I feel like she was going to be gone longer or going to be gone. I don't think her plans for coming back were like set because I feel like she maybe wanted to be away from them, but it was kind of mixed on that part of it. Wolfie's always telling me that trust your intuition. The one, yeah, yep, it does take you to dark places. Yeah, yep. Okay, that sounds right. Okay, yep, I know which family you're talking about. The McKin starts with that last name starts with an M, I think. Yeah, car sick. Look, when I get car sick, I am done all day. Like some people get headaches, get real bad headaches and they have to lay down. Some people get sick at their stomach, but if I get sick at my stomach and then actually get sick, I'm done for the rest of the day. It just kicks my butt. It just kicks my butt. I was lucky at it that didn't happen, but it just kicks my butt. Horseback or tractor have to fly you in. Hey, by the way, I'm dropping you off. Be here at 05 in the morning so I can pick you up on a hanger and take you out of here so you can go to work. Being on the boat, motion sickness. Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. It's not like they can just turn around and take you back, is it, Eve? You're kind of stuck there. Yeah. Yep. I got other words, but the tape kept coming through every couple of words. She wasn't coming back. Yeah. There was a fight at the house at 5 a.m. The boyfriend was called, but heard yelling, but not Phoebe, we think. Yeah. See, I don't think her plans were like, no, I wouldn't say. Well, I guess you could say ditch them, but I think she really didn't have plans to come. I think she was hoping to stay there with him and get a job and live there. I really think that, and I don't think she told them that till right before she left. Like, I'm not coming back, or it's going to be a while, or whatever. And I don't think that they liked that very well. But I really didn't feel like she was going to be coming back there. And that's why his phone was called. Wasn't that the last call that was made on her phone was to him? I believe you had said in your live. I haven't read for the Decker sisters. I'm trying to figure out if I can do that, being that some cases I can't read for. Uh, like, um, well, crap. Her name just, bless her heart, her name just flew right over me. I'll think of it in a minute. I couldn't read for her because I couldn't. Um, she was the one where her mama put her, um, Evelyn, is it Evelyn Boswell? I think I said her name right. I could not read for her. Spirit was just like, no, you can't handle that reading. So some readings I can't do. Um, I just can't. If I think I can't handle them, I'll get that feeling where I just can't handle them. So I did not. Like some I didn't read. I haven't read for them yet. Think something bad happened at 5. Yeah, I agree, Aussie. I agree. Hi, Claudia. Good to see you. You're up late. Good to see you. Yeah, if she had just not said anything to them, if she hadn't have never let on like she was not coming back. If she'd have just got on there and said, "Hey, see you in a week or a month or I don't, however long she played." If she'd have just played it off like that and just got on that flight and then told them after she got there, it would have been, you know. But I believe she told them before she left, "I'm not coming back," and they didn't. They were not receptive of that. They were not. Like an undiagnosed brain injury. For for the Decker sisters, I keep hearing something about a brain injury from car accidents for the father. Oh, yeah, that could very well be what have happened to him. Yep, yep. Yeah, ooh, I can't. Let's see what Miss Claudia. Did you hear about the oldest boy? Website ask for some. Yeah, we did. We talked about that in my last live, Claudia. Yep, we sure did. We talked about that last week. Josie being up for adoption. Yep. We talked about it. We wished and was hoping they were all three together, but now we know that they're not. Right? Yep. And the same thing, I can go back to saying the same thing with um Shanann Watt. She had bad feelings about going home. Her mother had bad feelings about her going back to Colorado, but yet she got on that plane and went. So, if she'd have just not got on that plane, you know, maybe they would all be here. I'm not blaming it on her in any kind of way. I'm just saying, that's another time that she should have listened to her intuition. Her mother should have listened to it. You know what I mean? There is a in Miss Aussie's live, she was talking about a young lady that was missing. Um, I think about a week ago, maybe, and they just found her. Um, Sadly, she was no longer here, and I was telling Aussie that was going to email her and tell her what I thought about it because I listened to the case, and I felt like um, she was not going to come back. And she had a couple of roommates, and they were taking her to the airport. Phoebe is her name. She's got sandy brown hair, um, but she never made it to the airport, and they done something to her. So, um, and I was telling with Aussie that I felt like she told them I'm not coming back, and they didn't really like that very well. So, but but they did find her. Sadly, I mean, I'm glad they found her instead of not knowing, and trying to search for her. But I wish the results had been better. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you go to Aussie's, Miss Eve, if you're still in there, if you can drop Aussie's link. I can't remember what live that was. It's been last week. Yeah, it's in Australia. Yep. Well, Miss Aussie can do it. Drop that live in here. Um, of where you was originally talking about her, so the other ladies can go in there and watch it. Yes, they did. I think Aussie said they did arrest the roommates. Did they arrest them, Aussie? Which is good. And I don't know what made them think they could get away with it. That's my other thing. But I don't think it wasn't planned, so I don't think they were thinking they could get away from it. Because I honestly think she told them right before she got ready to leave, and it went from there. So they really didn't have, it really wasn't a thing they planned. I think it just, she said, I'm not coming back. And they, because she probably paid rent and she probably bought groceries or whatever for the house, and that was their money. I kind of feel like somebody owed somebody money there, and that was money. Money has something to do with the argument. Besides the fact that she told him she wasn't coming back. There it is. Thank you, Aussie. There's Aussie dropped it, so y'all can go and bless her too. I think she was very young, right, Aussie? Like 17. I think she was just 17. She was there. Yeah. Yep. Now that, yep, you're right, Wolfie. They will. Yep. I think she was just 17. Oh, great. Thank you, Witchy Mama. Sweet. Look at y'all in here, going in here. Thank y'all for doing that. Sweet. Y'all will love Miss Aussie's channel. She goes on there once I forget how many. Do you go once a week, Aussie? Do you go live once a week? Because sometimes I can't catch them. And then, but sometimes I do. And I did catch that one the other night. Sure. What I was planning on Aussie, either channel was what is I can't even talk. I am planning on doing one on my looking glass also. I want to do a live on there because I haven't in a while. And I want to do a lot of like um like talking about spirit boxes and true crime and tarot cards and stuff. I'd like to do that. So I'll get with you. I'll email you and get with you on when it can be good for you. And we'll get on my looking glass. I'm hoping I can do that this weekend. I wanted to do it last weekend, and my grandson's birthday party was last weekend. So that took up like all of Saturday. So I wanted to be able to get on my looking glass and have Mandy up and you up and my friend Megan from Southern Soul Tarot. I wanted to have her up um, and just talk about, spirit boxes and different things that we do within that in the spirit world because I think it's a great thing to talk about. Um, and you and Mandy do the spirit boxes and y'all do the cemeteries, which I would love to do, but I just don't have nobody to do that with. But so I do my cards and stuff. But yes, I definitely want to have you up, and that will be a good time. That would be a very good time. Us all getting to talk and give different opinions on things and show what we do, and that I'm very much looking forward to that. Very much. Do you go live once a week, Aussie, or do you go more? Do you try to do more? I know it's hard. Like I have to go live this like dark 30 because I have my grandkids during the day, and you ain't gonna be quiet with them three boys. So I do it at night, and then still it ain't quiet because you hear my cats. There will be, yes, ma'am. And Wolfie, you probably know Megan too. You've probably seen Megan. She has a crime channel and she does tarot too. So, um, and then y'all know Mandy and Aussie. So it'll be, and we may, there may be somebody else that wants to come up that does, in the spirit realm does spirit boxes or deviation or something that wants to come up, and we'll see. And see what the PI. Hey, that would be a good idea, Mimi Jean. That's a very good idea. We probably should. Yeah. Pull some cards and ask the spirit box. I mean, yeah, I agree. Be a great idea. Okay, here goes Aussie. Okay. Try a couple of times a week. It depends on. Yep. Oh, on Erin Patterson, you got her going now. Yep. I understand with the grands. Yeah. I got three that I have eight altogether, but five of them don't live here. But the three that live here, they're 6, 8, and 13, which, the 13-year-old, he's just his own, he's a teenager. He does his own thing, but, you know, it keeps me busy. I run cards, pendulum, and auto write note channel on YouTube. Okay, Witchy Mama, you'll have to join us too. Good. Yeah. Very good. Yep. You auto write. That is so very cool. So you write down like what you see or hear. You write it down. That's very neat. Upper creators upcoming live stream on channel. So all of Aussie's trick on there. Thank you. Yep. Good. Very good. I'm thinking JB or her brother or Chad. Oh, you can't, you just can't, you know, get away from JSB. You just can't get away from that group right there. You just, your mind just will not let you separate them from possibility of what happened this summer. You just can't. Karen Reed trial, there's a whole rabbit hole there. Right, she's not guilty. She didn't do it. I agree. I agree. She's being railroaded. Good old boys club. There's Miss Eve's channel. Miss Eve has a channel. I love the little cartoons you do with Betty Boop and the little cute things you do every day. I like those when you say goodnight and stuff. I like those. They're so cute. 8-year-old, eight. Wow, that's far apart, huh? And another coming. Oh, in 7 weeks. Oh, two grandcats. Hey. Oh, 8-year-old, 18-month-old, and about 7 weeks. What is the other one? Is it a boy or girl? Well, I didn't ask you what these were. Are these boys and girls? Have you got a mix? Miss Smith, yeah. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They are funny. Yeah. They're cute. I like way that she puts those up there. They're really cute. Yeah. Uh, Karen Reed is like it for me. In my opinion, on her is the reason she doesn't say anything. She doesn't take up for herself and doesn't say anything is because she cannot remember. Because I feel like they gave her something. You know, they have all kinds of stuff out there. They can give you that you won't have a memory of what happened. And I think she just doesn't know what happened. She only knows what she was told by them. And then her finding him, that I think she doesn't take up for herself because she just doesn't know what happened. And in her mind, it's a possibility that she could have done it because she can't remember. And I think that's how they got her in the state they got her in. But she didn't. She didn't do it. I don't. In my opinion, she didn't. Yeah. Well, if you get in it, boy, you'll be. You watch a couple of. If you well, this is her second trial, correct? Because the first one was a mistrial. I'm pretty sure. First one was a mistrial or hung jury. Oh yeah, they're dumb. They're dumb for being cops. They're dumb. I mean, even the state trooper that should know how that scenarios go. He's probably seen a few of them. Dumb, dumb. Right. She knows now after all the evidence, right? But I think before she, like in her first trial, she didn't, she just didn't, she didn't know. She didn't know what happened. And I still believe that. Even I didn't do a reading like I was just, somebody just asked me to do it. I didn't like record it. And when I did it, I'm like, she just don't know. It's like a lot, it was a lot of brain fog and I just can't remember. And then people telling me one thing. So I'm believing it because I don't know, I can't remember. So I think that's how they had her in that first one. Yeah. They didn't cover their tracks. Yeah. I mean, well, think about it. If somebody hits somebody with a car and they're laying on the ground by the light pole, face down, I think he was face down, she would have to take her SUV and back up over a curb beside a telephone pole if she's drunk and miss the power pole. I keep calling telephone pole. Miss the power pole, hit him, go back, not have any damage to her vehicle but the light, and there's no tracks or anything. Huh? I don't. And those were dog bites. Those were scratches. Those were teeth, or a dog comes with their teeth down. I mean, I don't know. That's just my opinion. A subject to eat. Oh, good. Thank you, Witchy Mama. Yes, thank you, Witchy Mama. Finally getting leverage on Brennan. Sad part is they may just drop continuing to. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I went too far. Hold on. Let's see. Then the two cops that just happened to destroy their. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. 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 Just happened to destroy the phones. Yep. Yep. I mean, it's a whole rabbit hole in itself. I have 8 grandchildren, 18 to 9. Oh, I have 8, and they're 15. One just turned 15 to 4. Okay, what'd you say, Wolfie? Supposedly he fell backwards on his head, but right, there's that. There's that. Mm-hmm. Okay, Miss Aussie. There's that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the judge is not any better for any of it. Not any better. Giving signals and getting up and leaving when she don't like how the questioning's going. Please. There's no etiquette there, right? Okay. Thank you. Please sub. Okay. Channel link is in the chat. Sweet, sweet. And I put in my um in my community post, which has nothing to do with true crime, not a thing. But I put it in there anyway. LSU is going to Omaha to play in the College World Series, and we are happy in Louisiana. Happy, happy, happy. Had 5 children asked for more grandchildren. They said no. Oh, oh, Mimi Jean. They said no. How dare they? Well, I have 8. That's probably where I'm going to stay at 8. Stay at 8. Yes. We are going to Omaha, Wolfie. We're going to Omaha. We're playing in the College World Series. Let's see. The judge, yeah, faking evidence in front of the jury. Yep. Oh, of course it's denied. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which that's grounds for it, so I don't really understand why it didn't happen, but it's all like, good old boys club up there. I know, isn't that awesome? I'm glad LSU's going. 9 kiddos from 33 to 18 years old. 1 grandbaby. Oh. Well, we will pray that she has her a baby, a sweet, healthy baby. Happy, healthy baby. And God will give her a good pregnancy and a safe one and an enjoyable one as it can be. And she don't get pregnant and when it's hot as heck. It's always hot as heck in Louisiana, but I mean, yeah, that's big time. Yep. And guess who didn't go? It's more important that our rivals didn't go. They didn't make it this year. Woo-hoo. See, grounds for appeal, but she denied because it's just Hail Mary. They have no evidence because she didn't do it. Yeah. Yeah. She's so stable. She will be an awesome mama. That's awesome. That is awesome. So we will pray that she gets everything that she needs and wants and is happy and healthy. And when it's time, God will say, "Here you go. Here's you a sweet one." Yeah. Alabama didn't go. They're not going to Omaha. Woo-hoo. Neither is Ole Miss. I wouldn't care if we beat them in basket weaving as long as they don't go. Long as they don't go. Well, is there anything anybody else would like to say before I get out of here about the tips for summer? Is there anything y'all want to discuss next week? We will be at her I'm not going to stop talking about summer, but we'll be at her 4-year mark before I do my live for the next time. So is there anything particular y'all want to touch on about summer? That I haven't talked about? Oh, you're talking about for Ovulate, yeah. A Saint Gerard medal. Yep. Tricks. The nurse is giving you tricks. Is there anything y'all want to discuss about summer next week? Anything that I haven't gone over or something you want to go over it again? If it is, you can leave me a comment in this video or can send me a message or anything. Just let me know. We'll talk about it. We may start talking a little bit more about other cases too, but I will never not talk about summer. But I will look and see if there's something we have not went over about Summer's case, if there's anything that we haven't touched on that we might have forgotten about. If there's anything new that comes out this week, we'll talk about it next week. Maybe be more on the tip. Maybe we'll have some more information on the tip and stuff. And maybe we'll talk about that next week. But if there's anything I haven't talked about, then definitely put it in the comments of this video or send me a message. You can email me or find me on Messenger. Find me on Messenger at Tammy Barnes. Just send me a message there. Either way, I don't mind at all. Oh, you told her about the temp too? There you go. Yep. Everybody helping her out, see? With all this help, she can't help but get pregnant. That'll be it, right? That will be it. So thank you, everybody. I do appreciate y'all for joining. Thank you for subbing to Witchy Mama and Aussie and everybody that has a channel. I appreciate us all supporting each other and hanging out and putting our links in there. That's how it is for me over here. work together, take care of each other, help each other out. I know I'm a small channel, but you know, if I can help somebody else grow, then that is awesome. And hopefully I can do hoping I can do a live on my looking glass. Um, and we can get some very talented and spiritual people up and we can talk about different things up there. It will be fun. Um, I think it'll be great. We'll get traction to everybody's channel, work together. That's how it should be. And we'll just have fun. Because I don't want the drama llama over here because we have too much fun over here and we have too much fun on the looking glass. And that's the way it should be. So please take care of yourself this week. Rest of this week, if it's any bad weather, stay safe. If it's hot, stay cool. If it's cold, stay warm. Get plenty of rest. Drink plenty of water. And be sweet. And be kind to everyone. Be kind to yourself. And I will talk to y'all later. Thank you to my mods. Thank you, Miss Eve, Miss Woofy, Miss Smith for coming in. Appalachia Skies. I'm glad she got to pop in for a minute. I know she's got to work and she's up in the air in airplanes, and we cannot have her being sleepy. We cannot have that. I'm glad Cher popped in, said hi, and I know that Mandy would have. But I bet you her granddaughter won tonight. So I bet she had her hands full tonight. So, but that's okay. But I appreciate all of y'all. Y'all always come in and support me, and I do appreciate it. So I love you. Please be kind to yourself. Self-care all week. Remember, we got a full moon coming up. Put your crystals out. Get out there and hug a tree. Walk on the ground. Touch some water. Keep yourself grounded. And take care of yourself. And I will talk to y'all later. Love y'all. Bye.